All right.
Talking this. All right, let's go.
Well, we've started. We're here with Drake Hogestyn. We couldn't be more delighted. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Hey,
my goodness.
Okay, before we go, I don't do Zooms. I don't do any of this podcast. Never done
I know you don't. Thank you.
So right now I've got something across my screen that said, this meeting is being recorded. How do I get rid of this? It's across,
it should say got it.
It
should say got it. Is there a tab that says got it?
Leave meeting or continue.
Yes,
please
I would
continue if that's okay.
Unless you want it to be the shortest podcast in the history of podcasts.
Okay. I guess we're officially legal now.
We're in.
Okay.
Hey, go ahead.
We're
Drake.
we're in the age of consent now. So thank you.
All right. Ask Bradford what that B means.
I know.
Let me see what we got here. I'm trying to get some volume here. I don't know how to work. I don't ever work computers. Let me see. Okay. Speak to me.
Yes. Oh, how? Check. Yes.
There we go.
Amazing. All right. So yeah. So the first thing you said when you saw my hat was, and it was a question you knew the answer to.
Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something.
Oh, the glasses are off.
When you first signed with the Yankees,
yes,
and you walk into Damaski Field, and this is the New York Penn League, Oneonta, New York. Pat Gillig was my signing scout. He's in the Hall of Fame. He managed Seattle, Toronto, Philadelphia, the World Series. Great man. And all 25 of us are in there. And they said, "You are now a New York Yankee. You will play every game like it is the 7th game of the World Series, and by God, you will be in the World Series. You will hit, you will run, you will field, you will throw all by yourself, but you will only win as a team. You will put crooked numbers up on the board to remain in the lineup."
Ooh.
It was the mantra of the Yankees, and you heard that every day. The one thing he said was, "You are part of a team, and there is no I in team." And that was the main thing. They tried to do that. Now, that is, I've carried that on through the rest of my life with everything. I mean,
sure.
All I ever wanted to be was Mickey Mantle, number 7. I wore that number growing up in all the sports until I got to college, and I figured that number should be like taken off of all sports. This guy right here taught me more in 3 minutes than all of my coaches taught me in my first 20 years. So what the Yankees do is they give you your pinstripes, which I got number 1 was the jersey. I look in the back and Bobby Mercer is written in there, is scrolled in there. It's amazing. And all I thought about was, Billy Martin, and because he was managing at that time.
Yeah.
Oh, let me go back. Let me go back. Just a second.
Go back.
Okay. You first get drafted, and it's like, oh man, and this is like really exciting. I was drafted a couple years earlier, the number 2 pick of the St. Louis Cardinals, and then that was the January draft back when they had it. They stopped doing that in '86, but they wanted you really bad, and I was in junior college in Fort Lauderdale. I got a million stories here. I went to Fort Lauderdale to junior college only because the Yankees spring trained there at Boggsville, Hollywood, Florida. And I'm playing for the local college team there. And I would go over to Boggs Field and I'd say, "Hey, you need an extra player, blah, blah, blah." And they go, "This is a professional baseball kid, get out of here." And I'd say, "Yeah, I know, but you might need an extra player for an inter-squad game or whatever." Kind of annoying. And they went, no. And then one day they went, yeah. And I went, and I got out there and got to play with these guys that were professional players. And I held my own. And they came out to the ballpark at Broward College and started watching me play. And they said, "Damn, we're going to draft you." I was like,
wow,
it's going to happen. We would probably take you in the 5th round. I said, okay. At the same time, St. Louis, they had a scout named Harry Hayes, and he was like coming out to all the games. And I was a team captain, and he would take me down to the Miami Dolphins the year they went 17-0. This is the way they did it back then. They wanted to get you in the car, have the hours with you, sit in the ballpark, talk to you, make sure that you're someone who's going to be good inside the locker room and just get to know you. That's the way they did it back then. And never really said he was going to draft me or anything else. We didn't have cell phones back then. So, on the draft day, man, the phone rings and it's the St. Louis Cardinals. And they said, "We've just made you the number 2 pick." And and I
Wow.
went, damn, I'm upset. It was
Oh,
supposed
sure. Like, no, it was supposed to go to the Yankees in the 5th round.
Yankees. Supposed to be the Yankees. So I didn't sign with them. And
you didn't sign with St. Louis?
I didn't sign right away. I said, let me play my junior college year out.
Wow.
Let me play it out, and I'll still be ready to go right into professional baseball. And I go, okay. First game of the season, I have a collision with the catcher at home plate and tore up my right knee. And went through 8 weeks of rehab. First injury, well, that's not my first injury, but it was one that was kind of debilitating enough that I decided not to sign. George Steinbrenner from the Yankees took me and put me in the University of South Florida in Tampa. And that's where I played for the next 2 years until the draft came up. And I was the last round draft pick of the Yankees. Number 507 or something like that. I don't know what it was. But anyways, it was a New York Yankee. Now, here's the thing. What they do is they fly you up to New York, LaGuardia, and they got you in a little puddle jumper. And we take off out of LaGuardia, and we're going to head up to the Catskill Mountains, Oneonta, New York. And the guy that's flying the plane goes, what's your name? I said, it's Don Hogestyn. He goes, okay. He said, Don, let me tell you how it works here. If you're any good at this game, and he's circling, he goes, look down, and he tilts the plane like this. We are over Yankee Stadium, and the game is in progress. If you're any good, someday you'll be playing down there. And off he goes. And we land up there in Oneonta, New York, Damaski Field. First thing they did, this is 1976. We had hair and mustaches and stuff like that. Yeah, first thing, they took you to Floyd's barbershop, shaved, can't have, sideburns middle of the ear, no hair over the ears, no facial growth. And
that went on for years, right?
No, it still goes on right now. Right now, it's starting to change a little bit with Cortez and with Carpenter coming in. He's got the stash going on.
Right. Yeah.
That's starting to change a little bit. But anyways, getting back to that hat you have on your head. Pinstripes. I'm looking at that. I got Bobby Mercer #1. My pants were Thurman Munson. I don't know if you remember. Oh,
yes, I remember Thurman Munson. For sure.
Munson? Okay, Thurman Munson.
So they were big pants.
Yeah. Let me show you. I don't know if you can see this or not. How do I get up close?
That's good. You're good. We see it.
Oh, wow.
That's Oneonta. They take the NY off. They put the O on there. That's Munson's pants. That's Bobby Mercer's jersey. Oh, I'm so upset because I'm getting back to your hat here in a second. I got 1,000 stories, and we only have like 6 hours. Okay, I'll speak.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. My uncle developed that crazy camera years ago. He worked for Kodak up in Rochester, New York, and a little disc camera. And before I got moved up in this league to a higher league at the end of the year, I hung my #1 jersey in my locker at Damaski Field and took a picture. I wanted to steal it, but you can't do it. Come on.
Yeah, right.
Took a picture of it, and it was the last picture on that roll. And when I got down to Lauderdale in the next league, I ran out and I got the pictures developed, and the last picture didn't develop, and I was very upset about that. But at least I have this picture.
Wow.
So, anyways, they give you your pinstripes, and they give you your traveling grays, and then they give you one T-shirt. And this is it.
Come on.
And this is the old Russell Athletics. I don't know if you can see that tag.
Wow.
But this is what we got in 1976. 1976.
Amazing.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And you wear that when you play Boston. Now, the Yankees in Boston keep all of their teams together coming up in the minor leagues. So if you are ever so lucky to make it to the parent club, you have this built-in competitive love for the Red Sox. It's not a
Yeah.
hate thing. It's like you just want to beat them. They want to beat you.
Right.
And you know, that's just something. That's the way the Yankees do it. And I've always kept this shirt. I don't wear it, but it's.
I was going to say, I can still see the creases in it.
Folded up nice and neat, and just something I really enjoy. Now, I think my greatest moment in the history of baseball. Are you ready for this one?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, bicentennial, right? This is 1976.
Sure.
We've got these baseball bats, you know, and it's got right underneath the. Unfortunately, I don't have it. The only bat I had like that, my brother stole it. And Bart, if you're listening, I know you have it.
Bart, come on, dude.
It's my bicentennial bat. And
Yeah,
this
any
is
guy named Bart stole it for sure.
Yeah, this is the Hilleridge bats. But now right here they had a logo, and it was the Liberty Bell with 2 crossed bats, and that was the bicentennial logo. I've actually talked to Hilleridge, and I said, "Can you guys make me my original '76 bat?" And they said they can. So I'm real excited. I want to frame one and put it up to all my grandkids so they know
That's
where
cool.
Grandpa came from.
Drake, your name's on the end there, huh?
Yeah. Oh. Okay. You know, I got a million stories. I got a million. Yeah, this is
Hey, we don't need to talk about Days of Our Lives. Who cares? Let's go.
Okay. And anyways, we'll get back to my greatest hit with Boston. But this is interesting because a buddy of mine just sent me a bat 2 days ago. Let me show you that one.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is Billy Wolf.
Yeah.
Bill Wolf. Here's a little story, and I'll go back a little bit. I'm 17 years old, and we got a league that's 17 to 19. Then you got 19 and above. This is in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and this is Johnny.
That's where you're from. Is that where you're from?
Yes. Chief
Nice.
Little Turtle built the city. Built his village of Kikiyanga, and on 3 rivers, where 3 rivers meet, no harm come, until General Matt Anthony Wayne came in, and then the rest is history. But anyways, I live along the river, played all my baseball at Johnny Appleseed Park. And that's John Chapman, you know, the guy with the tin cap on his head, you know, and kind of crazy, but planted apples everywhere. And that's where I played all my baseball. And one of the leagues, you're 17 to 19, is called Junior Fed. Then they had senior, and it was 19 and older. And I had a guy come to me and say, "We want to fake your age and have you play shortstop for us." I said, "But I'm 17. They go, "Shh." I go, "Everybody in town knows who I am." They go, "Shh." And they did it. And we had guys that came from professional baseball that played on our team. Billy Wolf came out of the Philadelphia organization, started with Cincinnati, was Johnny Bench's roommate. Legend has it that I think he kind of stole Johnny Bench's girlfriend and married her.
Oh boy.
You know, but anyways, he would just strike out 21 guys a game. I swear to God. Really, I swear to God. He sent me something 2 days ago besides that bat right there. And this is it. Now, if you can see right up here on the top, what does that say right there?
Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan. Good Lord.
Ryan. Billy's pitching against Nolan Ryan. Ryan strikes out 21 in this game. He was 19 years old. Billy was 21. And Billy beats him, though. Billy beats him with 2-1 score. And Billy did a complete game also, only struck out 8. But anyways, as a shortstop, I'm standing behind this professional player. Now, back then, when you had an injury, they didn't know how to, you know, and he had the Tommy John, which Tommy John actually is a really good buddy of mine, because Frank Joe put my shoulder back together. But anyways, back then when you had an injury, they just said, "Well, go home." You know, they said, "Go home, and if it gets better,
come back."
Okay. So anyways, Billy's arm is obviously getting better because he's just throwing children's aspirin in there. I'm a shortstop saying, I'll sit back here and pick my teeth. He's not going to hit any balls to me. One night after game, Billy says, "Hey, Hoagie," he goes, "You want to go see Bench tomorrow?" I said, "Pardon me?" He said, "Johnny Bench, you know, my roommate." And he goes, "They're going to play a double dip against Philly and Cincy." He goes, "I thought maybe we'd take off around 5 o'clock and go see Bench." I said, "Hell yeah."
Yeah.
It's like, wow. I leave the ballpark and I go to Main Auto athletics shop. It's the only one we had in Fort Wayne. I bought a dozen baseballs. I go on Johnny Bench. Man, I'm sitting outside my house like 4 a.m. and Billy pulls up. We drive to Cincinnati. It's about a 3-hour drive, 4-hour drive, whatever. And we got to the Closter Apartments on the Ohio River, and there's a wrought iron gate around the fence. And 100 Wheatie boxes thrown in the yard. Back then he had a commercial. Johnny, you didn't have your Wheaties, that type of thing.
Right.
I don't know if you ever remember that. You guys weren't even fetuses back then.
I was, sir.
You remember that?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, so anyways, Billy goes up there and he rings the doorbell, and Bench answers, and he's in this red robe with in white on the back and satin, and says the Big Red Machine, and he's got this little girl
Awesome.
with him, and Billy just kind of gives me an elbow and says, "Big leagues." I'm like,
oh man,
I'm 17.
Right.
We go inside there, and Billy's and Johnny's talking. He goes, I had a bad game yesterday. I'm going to call up Gary Nolan and find out what those sunflower seeds were, because I hit 2 dongs that day, and maybe I need some good luck today. And Billy Wolf says, who's pitching today? And he said Champion. Billy Champion was pitching, and Johnny says, I'll look him down in the first inning, take out a row of seats in the third. And he did that in the game. I mean, it was like, this shows you how professional players are. They're just going to sit there with a bat and watch every pitch you have. Next time he was up, 3rd inning, first pitch, just like you could hang a week's worth of clothes on it. Anyways, Johnny was talking. He goes, so kid, tell me a little about what you got in that bag underneath the couch. And I said, nothing, sir.
Yeah.
Couldn't even, I mean,
Yeah.
Anyways, Billy was just sent me a picture of he and Johnny together. Oh, sugar jets. Sugar jets. I'm sorry. With all the kids that I've had,
Yes.
Is that, I was gonna say, did you develop that exclamation yourself? I have never heard sugar jets.
Actually, it used to be a cereal out of Battle Creek, Michigan.
Oh.
And instead of having kids, and coming out of the locker room being a baseball player, there were a lot of foul words that I had to really eliminate from my vocabulary.
Of course.
And so with the kids and everything else, and because they had a big cookie jar, and they said, Dad, you got to stick $1 in it if you say anything bad. So anyways.
So you developed some, that's great. That's
all
good.
right. So Drake, first of all, these stories are amazing, and I love your passion, but I want to hear about the Boston, go back to the hat. Let's finish up with the hat.
Okay. Anyways, Boston.
Did you get a hit in Boston, or what happened?
Oh man, let me tell you, it's divine intervention, and here's the deal. It's the 4th of July. We're playing Elmira Red Sox. We're in their home park, and it scores 6-3. Bases are loaded. Sure. And they bring in this big guy, and he toes the rubber on the far third base side like that, and throws almost 3/4 sidearm, and just throws like I said, children's aspirin. There's like BBs coming in there. And I hate these pitchers. I'm like, oh no, not like this. And I dig into the batter's box. And I get up in there and I'm like, okay, here we go. And all of a sudden I hear this high-pitched scream. Hoagie! Like this, and boy, I call timeout to the umpire, timeout. And I step back and I look over my shoulder and I see my Aunt Nancy. I'm gonna go, my Aunt Nancy. And then I see my Uncle Jack. That's my dad's twin brother. Now, and then I see my mom and my dad. And I'm like, I'm outside the batter's box, and I said, well, wait a minute. I'm thinking Dad's supposed to be in Germany. What's he doing there? But I guess he flew back early, went to Rochester, New York, grabbed his twin brother. My mom flew up, whatever. And they all drove down, said, we're going to watch him play his first professional baseball game. And here I am.
Wow.
Going, oh my God, bases loaded. And this, anyways, first pitch, boom. You play baseball. Bees, you ever hear of bees in the bat? If you don't hit it squarely,
it vibrates, yeah.
Hands are on fire, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Reed Nichols is playing second base. Glenn Hoffman's playing shortstop. They both went to the big leagues.
Yeah.
Carlton Steele is playing center field, and both Reed Nichols and Wade Boggs is playing third base. And Wade Boggs and I were drafted out of Tampa together that same year. He came out of Plant High. I came out of University of South Florida. Anyways, Reed Nichols and Hoffman are running out there. Carlton Steele starts coming in. Pretty soon they peel off. I'm rounding first base. My hands are on fire. I'm pissed off that I didn't get a good piece of it. And then Carlton Steele, he stops and he starts to backpedal. And I'm like rounding first saying, what the hell? What the hell's going on? And then he starts running. And anyways, dead center field, 435 feet, grand slam home run. And my hands are on fire. And I'm rounding second base saying, what?
Right.
No, seriously. It's just like, no, it's, I mean, I have hit, when you've hit as many balls as you've hit, when you hit a ball, you stand there at home plate and in your brain you go, see,
right.
It's just tick, nothing, no vibration. You stand and you watch that ball just like, and then you're just thinking, how far is that gonna go? Anyway, this was like, what the hell? Even the players were like, okay, so anyway, first game my mom and dad got to see play. Got on the team bus, and fireworks are going off, and Ed Napoleon, the manager. I got a great Ed Napoleon story for you. Ed Napoleon's the manager. He's over there on a satellite phone. He's calling New York and just saying, hey, Hoagie hit a bases drunk bomb. He said we just dumped the Sox 7-6, and we're on our way to Niagara Falls. And anyways, Mom and Dad, they were taking all kinds of pictures. Of course, Dad didn't have any film in the camera, so none of that came out. But anyways.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
One of those great moments.
Have you ever thought? I mean, obviously your life has been full of things to do, but I mean, have you ever thought of doing? Have you ever done commentary? Because you have all the words.
That's half of it.
I know.
I know you have the words and the passion for it.
Well, the thing is, I
have
a passion for it. It's it just afforded me so much. I'm so grateful and so blessed that that there've been such great people and mentors in your life.
Yeah.
That so supportive and encouraging. That's the big word.
So
go ahead,
Drake. I wanted to know. Obviously, did you have some injuries? Is that what led you to down this different path of arts, entertainment, acting?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll tell you about some injuries. You ready for this?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I'm 15 years old, and it's the jamboree in football in high school, and we only had we had sophomore, junior, and senior that year time. We didn't have freshmen, and I actually got to play. So, anyways, I'm coming home from the game. And I've got my football gear on the back. It's August 22nd. It's my mom and dad's anniversary. Dad had to work in New York. Mom said, I'm not spending another anniversary alone at home. I'm going to go with you. So she's off to New York with him. My older brother, myself, and the two younger kids are home. And I'm riding home on my bicycle. And I got a pair of shorts on, and that's it. And my big football gear on the back. I can hear a cop car coming around down St. Joe River Drive like this, and you can hear the siren getting closer like that. And all of a sudden whips out of this Glacier Avenue, it's called. And this place where I grew up is a Rockwell painting come to life. This is just like the best Midwestern town avenue. I had a paper route through all that stuff. I shoveled everybody's driveway, mowed everybody's grass, raked everybody's leaves. It's one of those things. In the river, you can't beat it. We had an island out there with flat bottom boats. It was just the perfect thing. Anyways, some car comes flying around Glacier, and then I barely remember the lights of a cop car. Anyways, broke my neck, broke my back, broke my left hip, tore my right leg in half from the
okay, here we go.
See that?
Yeah.
That thing was swinging around in a circle.
Oh gosh.
And you were how old?
But 15.
15.
I busted my foot up. But anyways, here's the deal. So what do? They take you to the hospital. And of course, the guy who delivers you, your doctor, Donald Lattig, maybe I was named after him, I don't know. But anyways, my full name's Don Drake Hogestyn. That gets into a whole different story, Steve, later on, my middle name. But anyways, Dr. Lattig goes, boy, your mother is really going to be upset with you. They basically put you in a freaking body cast because you're so broken up. They sew your leg back together. I barely remember being there, and he was going through all these suture cases, and he'd say, okay, wiggle your little toe. And I'd wiggle my little toe, and this one would wiggle. He goes, that's not it. And he'd hook up other things together until he got
oh my gosh, that's crazy.
All 5 toes working, put the plate in there and everything else, and sewed it all up. Anyway, he said, well, you won't have to worry about bending over to touch your toes when you're 30, because you're not going to be able to look down to see your toes when you're 30. That was the first traumatic brain injury, by the way. I've had 4 of them.
Jeez.
So the injury with baseball, with the Cardinals and the knee, that was something that kind of threw me back a little bit. But a real big one was Rick Honeycutt. I had smashed my foot up also. I had broken my foot and the toes, the big toe and the next toe next to it. You're familiar with Rick Honeycutt. He used to be, he was a Dodgers pitching coach forever. Came up out of the University of Tennessee, amazing first baseman. I mean, could have gone to the big leagues as first baseman. As a pitcher, when I played against him in Niagara Falls, he had a towel, and he would wind up like this. And if you were on first base, and he thought he was coming over, he'd look home and he'd look back like this, and then he'd go. He probably never even knew that. He'd give you the tongue. And so, I picked that up in Niagara Falls a couple different games. And when he was playing the next year at Bradenton and I was playing at Fort Lauderdale, I got a base knock off him, and I'm on first base. And it was the 5th inning of the game, and we had rain delay. In Florida, it rains. And
oh, sure, yeah.
God cools everything down, and the grass is wet. I'm playing third base. We had just gotten Brooks spikes, came out with new spikes. And that night, some distributor came around and said, hey, kids in the minor leagues, you want some free spikes? And we're like, yes, because, we don't get anything free. We pay for our gloves. We pay for our spikes. They give you bats and the unis, but everything else, you're on your own. And so, wow. So I put those on. They were like Capizio slippers. They were like a light. I'm thinking there's 7 more stolen bases right there.
Right.
Strap those things on, and now they're wet. But anyways, 5th inning, I got a base knock off Rick, and I'm on first base. And Rick goes into this, and he looks down, and looks back over this way, and then gives me the tongue, and I said, I'm gonna mess with him a little bit. So I jump up another 36 inches. Now I'm way off first, but I know I'm going back. And Rick goes back he's in his stretch, I guess, and he steps up. But he breaks the plane, from home plate or from first base to the rubber. It's one of those instinct things where you're like, you can see the lefty come back, his leg breaks the plane, and I'm thinking, oh man, I could walk to second, and I take off. But at the same time, I'm thinking, but he gave me the tongue. Sure enough, he spins around to first base, and man, I slammed the brakes on, and that pair of spikes split from the middle of the foot all the way over to the toe. And my foot, through the sanitary, hit the dirt, and the big toe pops out sideways like that.
Oh,
and of course the umpire's calling timeout. I got a double barrel. I'm chewing tobacco. That went down my throat, and I'm on my hands off, and it was really ugly. And umpire says, "Take your base, second block move." I called Jimmy DiPaolo over, our trainer, and I said, "Quick, man!" I said, "Spray this thing down, my Adidas, and because you don't want to take yourself out of the lineup, or someone else will step right in there and play."
Yeah,
of course,
that's true.
You just you wrap it up. Anyways, that was I know.
Man.
I don't know if you can see the railroad tracks on there.
Oh boy, man. Okay. Well, so there's a lot less. So when you make this transition, there's a lot less injuries.
Yeah.
Did your body thank you?
Unfortunately, we have to talk about days.
I have 13 artificial joints, but anyways, here's the deal. We're sitting in the locker room, and I'm not going to mention a lot of different names, but one of the players, his sister wanted to be an actress really bad, and she wrote her brother a letter, and it was in between a doubleheader. And he's sitting next to me, and he said, "Hey, you know, Karen wants to be an actress, and she's going to try out for Columbia Pictures National Talent Search." And I go, "Yeah, what's that?" And he goes, "She's going to write a 150-word essay on why she should go be a movie star. And looks like Columbia Pictures are going to interview 500 in New York, 500 in Chicago, 500 in LA. They're going to pick 30 people. They're going to bring them out to LA, put them in a workshop for 3 months, and they're going to give 5 contracts." And Jim McDonald, it was like our #1 pick of a year earlier. You know, he jumps up on the training table. And he goes, "I should be a movie star. I got the junk. I got this. I'm cool." Carson show. He was doing all that stuff. We were laughing our asses off, and we all wrote a 150-word essay on why we should get out of the Yankees and go be movie stars, because you know, and we put him in a rolling shoebox, and we gave that picture, you know, like whatever, and we were playing a game up in Daytona Beach against the Royals, and I got 1,000 baseball stories, really, really crazy. It was a doubleheader against the Royals, and I was playing second base. Damaso, you remember Damaso Garcia? Damaso, you remember him? Anybody?
Yeah.
Maybe went up with Toronto. Sure. We had a conduit from the Yankees to Toronto. A lot of players went up there. He was having a little snippet that day and didn't want to play, and so the coach put me over on second base, and we got one of the players we picked him off first, got him into a rundown, but no one covered first base, so I had to chase the guy back and dive, and he dove, I dove at the same time, and I rode back up on a spike and put 7 stitches into my thigh, and we got that sewed up, and the next game the coach told me, "Take a seat." He goes, I said, "No, I got to play." He goes, "No, you're all right. You can take a seat." So anyways, I'm sitting, and we're up in the 8th inning of the game. And the score is 5-2. We're down. The bases are loaded. Here's another, this is how this stuff happened, which was so cool. And I only had 5 home runs in my life anyway. So the bases are loaded, and they change pitchers, and they bring in this pitcher named Craig Eaton. And I played against him. He played for Miami-Dade North. I played for Broward. This is down in South Florida in college, in junior college. And the reason you go to junior college back then is if you went to a 4-year school, you couldn't sign until you left 4 years. JCs, you could leave anytime you wanted to. Craig Eaton, I owned him. And so I whistled to my coach, third base. I said, "Put me in." I'm like this, and he's like, "No." And I said, "I whistled, put me in." He goes, "No." Now put me in. And first pitch, dead center field. This one I tagged. I just stood there and looked over at the dugout and went, "See ya." Grand slam.
Wow.
There's an awesome old man. There's an old man in the stands, and he screams, "Drake, you suck." And I'm like, "Well, no, I don't." But first of all, who are you calling Drake? Because when we signed that 150-word essay, we all signed our middle names because they all sounded kind of stupid. "What's your middle name?" "Irving," whatever. "Yeah, put that in there." "What's yours?" "Drake." "Yeah, put that in there," you know. And this guy's name was Joshua Shelley, and he was running the Columbia Pictures National Talent Search. He obviously got these things, was down in Miami visiting somebody, said, "We're going to come up and want to check this team out," whatever. And he says, "I think you act more like a ball player than you play like one." He said, "I want to bring you out in the off season. I'll have you back by spring training. We're going to have Sidney Pollack and Martin Ritt run our program, along with, we had Walter Matthau and Dustin Hoffman and a few other people would come in and help out with that program, and have you back by spring training. But I need one person who has never acted before. I've already got 29 people who have their Screen Actors Guild card that are going through the program. You'll be my ringer, because I shot my mouth off in the LA paper that I'm bringing out undiscovered talent around the country." So I went out there in the off season, and then the adventure began.
That's awesome, man.
I didn't know anything about this business. There was trials and tribulations, and no one wanted to work with me in the program because I was taking a position from one of their best friends who wanted to be an actor all their life.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and you know, and I could understand that. But Joshua Shelley, he kind of
Wow.
he did some interesting things. That's a whole nother
Yeah. So Drake,
story.
so that's the beginning. So were you kind of in the studio system, or were you just
That was-
thrust into kind of going on auditions?
Well, no. Here's the deal. Okay, like I said, we needed like 20 hours of this stuff.
Well,
I got a contract. I was one of the 5. They had fitted us out for. They said we got a series coming up called From Here to Eternity, and I was going to play Pruitt, little Loanne Bishop, who was on General Hospital years ago before you even played Harris on our show.
yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Loney was, I call her Loanne Bishop. Anyways, she was going to play Kim Basinger's part. And we got fitted. We were all ready to go, ready to start this series. Dan Melnick was the head of Columbia Pictures and had just left, and Frank Price came in. Frank Price and Dan Melnick, I guess, didn't get along very well. And Frank Price said, "I'm not picking up the tab for Melnick's party." That was on the front page of the calendar. Get rid of all these 5 people under contract.
There you go.
Just like that.
Gone. Just like
and
that.
It was what? And it was like, you guys, and we couldn't do anything. And Loanne Bishop was the one that called me and said, "Hey, Hoagie, you don't know how this works out here. Let me tell you how it works. Columbia Pictures set us up with a really cool agency. Well, they're not going to represent you because you don't even have a Screen Actors Guild card." I said, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, you have to have a Screen Actors Guild card where you can work." And she explained all that. And I went, "Oh, I didn't know that." And she goes, "Yeah." And they're already like, "You're out of here."
Yeah.
Okay, so I tried to go back in Columbia Pictures, who I'm under contract with. I couldn't even get in there. Wouldn't even let me in. So I took a Phillips 66 gas station uniform when I used to pump gas down in Fort Lauderdale on the piers for all the big yachts coming and going. Great job, by the way. They gave you a bunch of fish coming back. It was cool. Anyway, I put that Phillips 66 uniform on, took a Sparkletts water bottle and walked right through Columbia Pictures upstairs to Al Honorado's office, who's the head of casting. And he was in and out of our program. I said, "Al, you guys blew a bunch of smoke up my
right.
Looks like I kind of got a problem here. I just figured out that I need to have a Screen Actors, blah, blah, blah." And he goes, "Hoagie, let me fix this thing for you. Tomorrow you're going to work opposite Kim Basinger on From Here to Eternity with Don Johnson." And Don Johnson replaced me in as Pruitt. And he said, "I'm going to release you from your contract, so you're free to go. I'll set you up with a commercial agent who needs a ringer for their softball team."
Wow, that's amazing.
And here we go. And so the next day I worked with, and my first line was, I'm chatting away supposedly with Kim Basinger, and Don Johnson comes in and grabs my shoulder and swings me out of the way. And my line is, "What the hell is going on here?"
Perfect.
My first line, perfect. "What the hell is going on here?"
Yeah, right. That had more meaning than anything else.
Yeah, right.
So that's it. So anyways,
yeah.
So now the adventure begins, and I play softball with this team, and I was writing a screenplay because what else are you gonna do? And my screenplay was called National Pastime, and it was about a pitcher who's in the big leagues for a cup of coffee and comes back down to bring up another pitcher who has a crazy #1 draft pick. Anyways, the agent of this commercial agent said, "Hey, you're running our softball team here. You want to pick up this kid out in Malibu, young kid doing afternoon specials. They have high hopes for him, and he loves baseball, and he's from the Midwest. He's from Cincinnati." I said, "Yeah, sure. His name's Rob Lowe." So I picked up Rob Lowe, and he's a young kid, and turned him into a short fielder. And in the back of my old Jeep, he kept reading, these scenes I was putting together. And
Wow.
he said, "This is like crazy." He goes, "What is this?" I said, "It's my life." I said, it's baseball. It's what they used to do. They bring players down. And he said, my God, I want to take this into Tim Wood at Writers and Artists. He said, this is like fabulous. It's so fresh. It's a minor league baseball. It's never been done before. It's like, and he said, all right, fine. He takes it in there and, I don't hear anything. I did a play, the first play that I've ever done. Oh gosh. A thousand stories. I've never done a play in my life.
I know. There's, you got to do more of these. You got to get them out.
1,000 stories. 1,000 stories. And one goes into another, and it's
okay.
Just,
so, all right. So, what about? Did something happen with the script?
Yeah, something did happen with the script. The play that I did, Sylvia Drake critiqued it on the front page of the calendar and said, train derails at the Cass Theater. And it was just shredded it up, but the last 3 paragraphs. But on the other hand, it gave me this fantastic write-up. 3 paragraphs.
That's funny.
Wow, how cool is that? Anyway, no one paid attention, and I went to the agency that I was with, commercial agency, which now had a theatrical department. They go, well, we can't do anything with that, whatever. And I said, give me all my pictures. I'm out of here. And I don't know what I was going to do, but I figured it was pretty much the end of the road. And I drove over to Writers and Artists and met Tim Wood. And he said, you're the guy who wrote that screenplay? He goes, oh man, he goes, we love this thing. We've got it here and we want to do something. You really should have it registered, so you can protect your property. I didn't know anything about that.
That's true.
And he said, and I said, well, I thought I would someday maybe do it myself. He goes, you think you're an actor? And I said, well, actually, I'm on the front page of the calendar today, right here. Look at this. That's me on the big picture. And he said, oh man. He goes, I want you to go on this audition for 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. He said, they've already got all 6 brothers. They've got the girl, Terry Trees, the one girl in there, and they've got Richard Dean Anderson. He's set, and they got even the youngest brother, River Phoenix. He said, we're looking for Brian, the one who can really ride a horse and play a little harmonica. Go on this audition. I went, cool. So I go on this audition. It's raining like mad. I'm in my Jeep. It's all fogged up. I'm wiping the window down. It's like, you know how it is. And I go up to the 7th floor of this place, and everybody's in the hallway, and they're singing, I'm a pepper, you're a pepper, everybody is a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper? And I'm going, what the hell is this? And then some guy comes up and he said, are you here for Dr. Pepper commercial? I said, actually, no. I said, I was here, Tim Woods. And he goes, oh. He goes, you're perfect for this part. He goes, my name, I'm the secretary, I'm the receptionist here. My name's Don Pimrick, who is now a huge casting agent. This was Barbara Clayman and Mark Schwartz's office. He said, they're so sick of seeing actors today. Take the script. I'm going to tell them you're coming back at 9 o'clock in the morning. And he said, you're going to come in here. And so I went home, read the script, came back at 9 o'clock in the morning. I read for everybody. They went, very nice. We want you to come back at 1 o'clock and read for Jim Brown. I go, okay. I'm just not going to go anywhere. So I read for Jim Brown. Jim Brown, he's one of the producers. When I want you to meet with David Gerber. David Gerber's running MGM at the time. And he said, bring him in. So David Gerber, I wait till 6 o'clock. I said, guys, I'm on stage at 7 o'clock. Gerber comes in and he's kind of funny. He goes, so I hear you can play a little harmonica. Like that. And I said, no, I can play a big harmonica, but I got a little one with me. Now that's a whole nother story for you musicians. When I'm living out here in Malibu in Greta Garbo's original beach house, the house next to me is coming down in a storm and they knock the pilings out of the Malibu pier. And I see some guy in the surf, backhanded with an axe, glancing blows off a piling that's underneath his beach house. I called him up and said, get out of there, guy, give me that axe. And I took it and boom, 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 cut up the piling, got it up underneath his beach house. He says, come on upstairs, thank you. And I, no, come on up. So I went up there and there's gold albums all around. I go, the world is a ghetto, war, whatever. And that was the group. And he said, I'm Lee Oscar. I play the blues harp. When I got this play at the Cass Theater, I had to play a harmonica. So I went and I said, hey, You owe me one. Teach me how to play this thing.
That's amazing.
Oscar, look him up. He's amazing. He would have
Wow.
a harmonica the size of smaller than dentine. He'd put it in his mouth, and then he would play music with his mouth shut, out his nose, and just freak everybody out in rooms. He was crazy as hell.
Wow.
So, anyways, so that how that ties into the play.
Yeah.
But this character, Brian McFadden, he was kind of the stoic. He was the real rancher. He wasn't the song and dance guy, but he would sit there on the back of his horse, you know, and he would play the blues harp and do all the real ranching work. And so David Gerber goes, "I like it, kid." He said, "Let's all go over and watch your play." And so they all came over to watch that play that night at the Cass Theater.
Wow.
He liked that. And he goes, "In the morning," he goes, "I want you in front of CBS in the morning." So every network tests differently. CBS's thing back then was you went into this like gymnasium auditorium and they all sat in a big circle. You went in the middle and you did your stuff. And then you went out and sat in a folding chair outside the door while they talked it over. And then they all filed out, 100 of them, like one after another. And then David Gerber's the last guy and goes, "What are you doing sitting there for, Brian? Get over to MGM."
Wow.
And, it was, and you know, that was 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. And we shot all on location for the whole year. Amazing pilot plus 26 episodes on the job training. First time I've ever done anything like that. And,
Wow.
And that was that. That was 7 Brides. And then, you know, a few years went on. I'll just fast forward to Days of Our Lives. A few years went on with doing, you know, episodic work. I shot and did a pilot. Oh, you'll like this story. This is fun. Richard Dean Anderson, Ricky Dean and I we're good buddies, and we must have tasted every wine that was ever made in Northern California.
Sign me up.
Oh, yes. Got some crazy. I remember this one. When you're on location, and we shot up there in the Stanislaus. It was the most beautiful God's country.
Yeah.
In the fall of the year, all the speedunkers, the old guys with their pack mules would come out of the hills because of all the gold up there. You know, seriously, it's just teeming with gold still. We did episodes of Little River Phoenix with Gold Fever, and the prop guys got 2 dredge machines for the episode, and they bought the dredge machine, sold them to the studio to use.
Yeah.
And kept that machine going from July through March. And the last episode, we're sitting there at the craft table like this, and they came in there and there's gold in them bar hills, and they threw this bandana out on the table, and nothing but color, they call it, exploded all over the table, and it was gold that had been coming down the streams. It's just
wow, that's pretty cool.
Really
wow.
Crazy.
Did you take any? Like, cool, thanks.
Yeah. We thought it was a joke. Anyways,
Yep.
Anyways, we got 2.5 minutes left. Watch this. We had there was an audition for a show called Generation. It was this is 1985.
I remember.
Well, no, I don't know if you know. I don't know if you remember. Well, this one, but listen, it was the Finnegan Company were putting it together. They just came off doing The Doll Maker with Jane Fonda and Adam the movie, and they were really hot. Christina Raines played my sister. But anyways, the show was called Generation, and we went through the testing, and it got down to Richard Dean Anderson, myself, and Dean Paul Martin Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on a Friday, and on Saturday, Dean Paul Martin flew his F-14 into the top of the Los Angeles Crest mountain. I don't know if you remember that or not. He was in the Air National Guard. And he took himself out.
Wow.
We came in on Monday for ABC to test. And ABC is totally different. You're up on a stage and they have, the lights are blinding and all you see are like shiny patent leather shoes. You don't see it. And you just hear a voice. Drake, we had a tragic accident this weekend, but the show must go on. Whoever is awarded Jack Breed, we have high hopes for this ensemble piece as our #1 pilot. But there is no loser here, because whoever doesn't get Jack Breed will get Henry Winkler's new project called MacGyver.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Well, we know how that story goes.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, we know how that ends.
Okay.
Wow.
So anyway,
right.
so
Wow.
the love of my life is coming back into my life at that same time. And this is a gal that I met, and everything that I do on soap opera is because of this girl. Everything. Met her on a baseball field, 15 years old. My buddy, Steve Poe, got his license. And so he was the only time my mom or dad never drove me to a ballpark, McMillan Field, never played there, south end of town. And about the third inning of the game, I'm playing center field, and there's a girl riding on the handlebars, and the other girl is riding the bike down the left field line. And I just look over, and from center field, I saw this girl sitting on the handlebars, and it was like Cupid went.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that was, I went, holy man, oh, wow, no. Literally, I went, I'm too young. I have too many things to do. No, seriously. I mean, seriously. And I went, no. Seventh inning of the game. We're out in the field. Where we have home field. So we're at this top of the ninth inning. We're seventh inning. 2 outs, and she rides out across center field with her girlfriend. Actually rides out like this, and I went, "What are you doing?" And she just said, "Wanted to see what you look like up close." And it's a run, rabbit, run park. You hit a ball over anybody's head, you just run your ass off and get a home run. Anyway, next ball is hit to right center field. I catch it on the dead run. They're in front of me riding their bike, and I turn around and I whistle to Steve, "Follow me." And I start chasing them through this neighborhood, which I didn't know where the hell I was going. They went this way, that way. I'm running like mad. They're on a bike. I'm running. I'm in spikes, all that stuff. I turned the corner and I saw a bicycle with the wheels spinning like this in the front yard of the house. I ran up there and I knocked on the door, and her mother answers that door and says, "Don't you ever follow my daughter home again," and slams the door. Steve pulls up in his car and says, "Huggy, I swear to God, my aunt and uncle live right across the street." And they did. And so we walk across the street, knock on the door, and the aunt goes, "Steve, I haven't seen you in so long. What are you doing?" "Well, you still have the pool table downstairs?" She goes, "Sure, come on in. Want a Coke?" "Yeah, I'll take." Went downstairs, we're looking out the basement window, playing pool, watching the house across the street. And about an hour later, this girl, Victoria, comes out with her girlfriend and her mom, get back in their '63 Chevy wagon, and they take off. We get in the car and follow them back to McMillan Park, and there was a water show going on. I'm still in my baseball uniform, IR&W, Indiana Rod and Wire. They called us the Rodman. Beautiful, classic uniforms. Anyways, I sat up beside her and just went, "Hi, I'm Don." Like that. And that's how we met. And this relationship carried on up until baseball really seriously got in the way, and I was gone all the time, college and then U.S. All-Star teams, instead of coming over the summer, playing in South America and stuff like that. And anyways, Victoria came back into my life right about that time that I had finished doing Seven Brides, and we were going to plan a whole different life together. Done with Hollywood, when the thing with Generation didn't happen, and then the MacGyver thing, whatever, and I had done a lot of different work, but I went, I was only in this business anyway to try to win her back. And really, it's a very strong emotion. The only time they would let me, her parents would let me come over to see her when I was a young kid, was when the Yankees were playing baseball on a Saturday afternoon game. And I would come up to the house, and her mother made this thing. I called it a squishy, and it was fabric all sewn together with plastic dry cleaning bags stuffed inside. So when you squeezed it, it went like this. And I would walk up there, and she would take this and push it into my chest, and she said, "Squeeze this, not my daughter."
Good gracious.
I'd sit there on the couch, and the Yankees are playing. I'd say, "I'm going to play for them someday." And they'd all go, yeah, all that kind of stuff. Well, when things didn't, go the way I had planned with Victoria in baseball, Mickey Mantle, you see that?
That's awesome.
It's another stories, huge stories. But anyways, I figured, hey, I'm going to make it to the big leagues, play for the Yankees. I'm going to haunt her.
Yeah.
I'm going to haunt her. And then the injuries started piling up. And then this crazy thing with Columbia Pictures came out of the blue. I was like, what do I know about acting? I don't know anything about acting. Hey, maybe I can get a television show and really haunt her. And it happened. So,
yeah.
Anyways, came back into my life and I figured, hey, this is perfect. The plan is working. I'm done with Hollywood. I'm going home back to Fort Wayne, Indiana. Maybe I can get a job at maybe CBS or the Wayne TV or WKJG or something like that or whatever. I'll figure it out. I get one more audition, and it was called Crazy Like a Fox. Doris Saba is the casting agent. And she says, yeah, I want to bring you in on this thing for Fox. You gotta be here. I want to see you. I went, okay. So I'm driving that old CJ5 Jeep, and it's at Columbia Pictures. And I thought, oh, this is crazy. This is exactly where I started all this, and this is where I'm going to end it. And so I pull up with the Jeep like this, and I pull into the parking spot, and there's on the street like this, and I jumped out, and I said, all right, let's get this shit over with. I took about 3 steps, and I stopped. What are you doing, man? Get this over with. I got back in the Jeep, fired up, went around the block, came back, skidded right up to that same parking spot. I said, all right, let's go give them hell. Jumped out, walk in there, and Doris is sitting there, and she goes, I got you here. And she holds up a script. These are some days scripts here, but she holds up a script. She goes, forget about Crazy Like a Fox. She goes, they're going to cancel that show, but you're perfect for Days of Our Lives. Let me explain this character to you. And she starts explaining this character. And I went, wow, Doris, time out. And out of my briefcase, I pull Robert Ludlum's The Bourne Identity. Are you talking about Jason Bourne? She goes, oh my God. We called Bob. We're trying to license the name, but he says he's got plans for that, and we don't think we're going to be able to get it. We may call him John Black, JB. And I said,
oh, there you go.
I said this book. I don't know if you read the book. It's amazing. I said, oh my God, the book is like it's on the end of your seat the whole time. She goes, yeah, we really love it. If this character goes, we're thinking about doing The Bourne Identity, The Bourne Supremacy, and The Bourne Ultimatum. All 3 books kind of been built into one. And so I went, yeah. So I tested for it and went through the process, tested for it. And I'm back with Victoria, and it's New Year's, the day after New Year's. And I get a phone call, and it's the agent, and he says, you got a problem. I said, yeah, what's the problem? He said, Ricky Nelson. I said, how's Ricky Nelson a problem? He said, well, he just died in a plane crash last night. I said, oh, I wasn't paying attention. I didn't know that. And he said, yeah. And he said, NBC just saw your screen test and they all just flipped out because you look just like Ricky Nelson. And they said they want to bring you back in and retest you. And then Doris Saba stepped in. And Doris Saba, this woman had so much energy. You really want to just shrink her down and put her like in your wall. Anytime you're feeling like low, pull her out and she'll say, you're the best thing since Wonder Bread, She says, she calls NBC and she goes, he's perfect for the role. He's unavailable right now. He's doing an episode for me of Crazy Like a Fox up in San Francisco. Just rewind the tape, look it again. Better yet, just take him. He's perfect for the role. Next day, the agency called and said, I think you better think about getting back out here. Looks like something might be happening. And 37 years later.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, look, we could talk, again, we could do a whole nother podcast on your career on Days, right? Because, I mean, what a career it's been. It's amazing. So just let me there's too much to unpack because there's too much to unpack. But let me ask, I just want to ask you about your just opinion, because you've been there the whole time. I mean, I've been in daytime a long time as well, not as long as you guys, not as long as you, Drake, but like with the streaming and with Beyond Salem, were you in Beyond Salem 1, the chapter 1?
Yeah, I've done all 3 of those. Well, there was one, then there was a one-off Christmas.
Yeah.
And then the first one was 4 episodes. The 1 episode Christmas, and then 5
of the Beyond Salem chapter 2. Now, how does everyone feel about that at the show? Like, just because
what is interesting about that, and you remember years ago, when you came on our show, which I thought was like one of the I remember when you came on, you and Scott Reeves.
Yeah.
I mean, the 2 of you were a breath of fresh air. It was like we needed, and even back then I called you a kid. You're still a kid, but you know how busy it was back then. You came in at 6 o'clock in the morning, and they're hammering away and they're putting sets up all over the place, and that stuff's going on until 8:30, and then you dry block them. Our 90-hour weeks were not uncommon, and I have ledgers that showed 90-hour weeks. But anyways, it was a beehive of activity, and then slowly you go in the 6. I have video of me walking in at 6 o'clock in the morning, and there's not a person in the studio, right?
Yeah.
So when we started doing Peacock, I walked around with my camera. There were 7 sets on studio number 4, and there must have been 100 different crew members. I've got you doing that fight. I went through the window I don't know if I've got a tape of walking through. I was so amazed at the energy that was there and the amount of money that was there.
Yeah.
Those resonate. Oh, by the way, let me get back to that fight you did. That was outstanding. It was, I don't want to do that stuff anymore. I've got, like I said, 13 artificial joints. That's a story for another time. But
yes, sir.
Who knew daytime would be you'd be as injury prone in daytime as you were playing baseball, right? I mean,
man. It's I've left a few body parts on that set over the years. We had some really tremendous fights on there, and you put it all out. That was the way it was when you're young and dumb, and it's like it's all good. Steve, you're stunt guy.
Yeah, I know.
That one guy, and the thing was, your shot was better. Now I haven't seen the Peacock because guys. Like I said, this is the only Zoom I've ever done. I don't know how to get. I don't have Netflix. I don't have Apple TV.
That's okay, Drake.
That's
allowed,
okay,
buddy.
man.
I have
a Hallmark.
It's fine. It's fine. But I want to say this. Obviously, I've known you for a long time, and we've crossed paths. And Bradford has a great story on the soap cruise where you were. That's where he kind of met you with the.
You saved my wedding, bro. You saved my wedding.
We'll end with that, but I just want to say
this,
Drake. Leaving the show, leaving GH and coming over to you guys, coming back over. I wasn't there that long in the beginning in '87 or whatever it was, but the welcome you gave me was so amazing, man. It meant everything to me that day. Like, it was my first day on set. And, I know a few people and some crew people, and then here comes Drake. Like, the doors just bang open, and he runs on set.
No. You gotta come on. You're gonna make me emotional here, man.
Seriously,
it was so good to see your face out there. I turned on the monitor in my room. I went, oh man. And I said, of course they screamed at me. I went out I broke down the protocol. Because
he did.
Right.
I
went through all the zones, that you're not supposed to come up. Just so I wanted to walk right on set and just say, "Hey, kid, man."
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah, it meant a lot to me, Drake. Thank you.
It was from the heart, kid. I was so happy to see you. So happy to see you on board. Now this goes back to kind of what the segue into what we were talking about. I feel a transition coming on, as I think everybody does. We don't talk about it. I kind of talked to one of the powers that be about it, but there's a transition happening here, whether or not it'll be this year or next year. But Days of Our Lives on network television, we know it may be a bygone thing.
I mean, that could be for all shows, Drake, because everything's streaming now. I mean, it's easier to stream than it is to get network.
I'm You know, like
I mean,
you would know a lot more about that than I would, because like I said, I don't have Netflix. I'm really
yeah.
sorry. I just really want to go back to like just the old nothing.
So the old Sunset Gower. That's what you want to get.
Yeah,
That's what you want to go back to. All right, Bradford,
Yeah.
tell your story and then we'll wrap up, buddy.
Well, as Steve said, we were on a boat together.
I had just got my first artificial hip like a week before that, and I couldn't even walk. I was so in pain that whole trip. You wanted to play basketball, and I wanted to play so bad. I can't even walk.
Oh man, that's right. And yeah, I was playing basketball. Billy Warlock was guarding me, and I was like, I got to get around Billy. I'm quicker. I can be quicker than Billy Warlock.
I was watching.
And so sure enough, I cross over left and then cross over right and push off my left foot. And all of a sudden it feels like someone took one of your baseball bats and just whacked me in the back of my heel. And I was like, what? Something fell on me. Something must have fallen. Like the things holding up the net on this basketball court on this boat somewhere in the Caribbean. That must have caved in on me. There's got to be a pole lying on my leg. And I turn around and I turn around, there's nothing there. And then I realized, because I never had an injury. I know you had some history with injuries. I never had one. So I was like, oh, this is what that's like. And my body kind of goes into shock. Anyway, I was lucky enough for a couple reasons. My best friend from high school was 6'4" guy, carried me for the rest of the trip. But I was getting married. This was January of 2010, and I was getting married in April. And I think that was the first time I met you, was that or certainly it was the first time I really spent time with you, was on that boat. And you gave me incredible advice. And you obviously you told us about how you had a relationship with Frank Jobe and Curlin Jobe, the orthopedic center that the Lakers use, and it's in Los Angeles. And you had such surety and such confidence, and you calmed me, because I knew what you like the way you spoke about it. I was like, I'm gonna be okay, because Drake's telling me what to do, and I trust him, and I know exactly what I'm supposed to do when I go back to town. And like that just it saved me in so many ways. I was like, I'm gonna be okay. Like, because the doctor there didn't know what he was really talking about, but you did.
Yeah.
You did.
It's interesting. They're witches over there. Back in the day when Bob Curlin ran the Rams and Frank Jobe ran the Dodgers, God rest his soul. They have put me back together. Dr. Dillon did my anterior cervical disectomies, 3 joints in the neck. Dr. Watkins and his son have left Good Job at the Marina Hospital. If you ever have a problem with your back, he did my last thoracic, all 5 lumbar, and the S1, put that back together. And that was from the being run over by that police car. But these guys are witches, and they don't go in the OR unless they hit an HR, they told me. And I went, I love you guys. They're so thorough. They're the best in the field. Everybody who in a sports team want a second opinion, you come out here. Now Alatrachi, Neil, does all the shoulders, arms, took over for Jobe. He does all that stuff. And Watkins is the guy. I was kind of curious. You saw Ozzy Osbourne the other day, Ozzy Osbourne. He just had a back surgery, and I kept saying, who's the surgeon? Who's the surgeon? They finally showed a thing of him leaving, and it was the Marina Hospital. And I said, it was Watkins. If you go into Watkins' office, all you see when you walk in there are every Hall of Fame jersey, sweater, football, baseball, hockey, everything. Thanks for getting me in the Hall of Fame. Thanks for keeping me on the ice. Thanks for keeping me on the court. Thanks for keeping me on the field.
Yeah.
And these guys are amazing. And it's so you tore your Achilles. What'd you do? You tear that?
Yeah, exactly. And I think you even told me go to Dr. Kwong, Philip Kwong. Yeah. I think you even said that name, and
he's still there. He's still there because he's still there.
Yeah. Well, and so but I mean
you see the Achilles.
Well, your phone's not on, Drake.
Sugar Jets. How do you do that?
The video's not on, Drake.
I don't know.
Let me see if I can ask to start video. I just prompted you. Let me see if that comes up for you. Does that help?
Okay, it's yeah.
There he is.
There he's back. Back.
Oh, come on. You mean we were doing that without any face?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So, but 3.5
Bradford's
months
met-
later,
Brad-
3.5 months later,
Bradford's-
I got married with a cane, but I still danced at my wedding.
Yeah.
And I've been so grateful for not only your expertise, but just the way, I mean, as I said, you calmed me down. You gave me that confidence that everything was gonna be okay. And I'll always be grateful for that. So thanks. Man.
Well, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome.
And he's mentioned that multiple times on our podcast, by the way. And you and Drake, you gave me that same feeling when I went to do Beyond Salem. So, and listen, man. I know you don't like doing this stuff. I know you don't do social media. I know you don't do podcasts. You're an incredible storyteller. I love your passion. You're so gracious and kind.
But I have to leave you at this, since I have had 4 traumatic brain injuries, and they've drilled 2 holes in my head. Seriously. See, I'm 50% cognitively impaired, and that's a fact. So I'm not responsible for anything that I say. That's my.
There you go. Amazing.
Well, don't worry, we'll take care of it.
Well, but what is amazing? It doesn't affect your memory, man. You have your memory's a steel trap.
Well, you know what though? I'll tell you what happened, and I'll do it real fast if I can. When I had back-to-back traumatic brain injuries here in May of 16. And they had to do the Burr technique and everything. So we're going in right beside that other hole. What was that? And I said, Lee Smith, 77 Pompano Beach Cubs, smacked me in the skull. And he said, okay. I was working out at Curl and Jove, and they didn't want my heart rate up over 85 beats a minute. And they said, or your brain's going to blow up. We did that for a month until I had a gym out here in Malibu, Malibu Health and Rehab. And I'm used to getting my heart rate up to about 170 beats. Not smart for a guy my age, but anyways, that's the way I work out. Yeah. And I started doing that and getting that heart rate up to 130, 140. All of a sudden, we're going back in and tested Curl and Joe. They said, "What the hell is going on?" I said, "I'll tell you what's going on. Your body knows how to perform as an athlete, and it is now pulling the brain along. It's not the brain is going to tell the body what to do. The body is telling what the brain, because he's done this for so long, so hard, so with such intensity and focus that the brain has to be pulled. And now they're saying, well, the brain is that elastic; it can actually repair itself." Because I'm not being facetious when I say that I'm 50% cognitively impaired. I don't feel that way. I study. I'm passionate about my work and the scripts, and I study. But I think it opened some eyes over there at Curl and Jove and Dr. Vernon Williams, who was doing all the testing on my brain. So
you're incredible. Well, I mean, to keep doing what you're doing is incredible, man.
Awesome. Well, the brain's like any other muscle, but when you're emotionally attached to your work or anything that you do, and you just can't. I can't wait to show America what we're going to do next. Even though I'm one of the old war horses on the show, I still roll my sleeves up every day and go in there just to give them just a swing for the fences.
I love it. Man.
Always,
I love it.
Don't get cheated on your swings.
Well, it just occurred to me, like they always say that your memories imprint more when there's emotion attached to it.
100,000%.
And absolutely. the way you talk about everything, Drake, the way you're invested in all these stories. You don't just experience life. You don't just walk through life. You attach to everything that you've done, like whether it is, and that is so beautiful. Like
all these memories, and they're memories, but they're things that are so like when you're 15 years old and you fall in love, and it's like and she lives on the south end, you live on the north end of town, and you share a bedroom with your brother, but you're able to get out the bedroom second story window, get onto your pole vaulting pole that you have preset the night before, slide down your pole, get on your bike to leave a note in her mailbox.
Love that stuff.
All that stuff is, and that's being the romantic. That's and those moments, of youth and love are so precious, and they're so forever, and they're so fleeting. Those moments that you feel, if you can keep going back and pulling into them,
100%.
That is what you can take. You can take that on the floor. You can take it onto the set. You can take it into your life. You can take it anywhere you want. Every time I look at Victoria now, every time I look at her now, I see this.
Oh wow!
Amazing! Wow, this is awesome.
Can you see that?
Oh, beautiful, man! Unreal.
All right. She's at that time 15. I'm 17, I think. So it's like, anyways, that's
Yeah.
Well, dude,
So,
we appreciate your time, man. Thank
You've
you so
lived
much,
you've
Drake.
lived life well.
Yes, sir.
Hey, it's not
Still
over yet,
looks-
is it?
Still
No,
doing it.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like that's the way to do it.
Buddy.
That's the way you.
You're awesome.
So, thank you, man, for spending the time. We so appreciate it.
Bradford, my
Drake,
pleasure. And I'm
Thanks so
glad
much, Drake.
I'm glad that Achilles worked. And what I was saying about the Achilles is, you see that?
Oh yeah, that I.
Okay, well, I tore that a year and a half ago, and
Oh my God.
no, I tore it. I did not rupture it.
Ah, I see.
If you rupture it, they put it back together. If you tear it, they want to do another procedure. This is Kwong. He wants to do it's called 10x. And what they do is they try to go in there with an ultrasound and they try to evacuate all that torn fiber tissue, and then they give you platelet-rich plasma, put your foot in the cast for about 6 weeks. They keep doing that, trying to stimulate that, but they said, better, why don't you just go out and rupture it, Hoagie, and then we can put it back together like Bradford.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, it was funny. It's such a simple test. He's like, get up on all fours on the table. I'm like, okay, all right, well, let's see. And he's like, I'm gonna squeeze your calf. I'm gonna squeeze your calf. If your heel pops up at all, there's something there. If it doesn't, there's nothing. And he squeezed my calf, and my foot didn't move.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's horrible. Yep. It's just a flat tire, and that's just flop down. You're done. Yeah.
But it was just funny that was the diagnosis.
That was the
It's
test.
like,
Yeah,
we don't need to do an MRI. We don't need to do anything.
No.
Squeeze your right. Like it was. So anyway, but man. Well, thank you again.
Thanks, Drake.
I hope this is. I hope we get to do this again because we need to unleash
we
more
will.
of these
You
stories.
guys are painless.
All right. Well, be well, man, and
Great,
we'll talk
thanks,
soon.
brother.
God bless.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You too. Thank you.